Y'all know what's going on. It's time for another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and welcome to the show, y'all. Last time we followed Marcus as he began to rebuild his life outside of prison. His second gear initiative was giving former inmates a shot at redemption, and Marcus himself was finding purpose. But forgiveness for Tony, his brother, remained elusive. Today we're going to explore a pivotal moment in Marcus' journey of confrontation with his past that would force him to decide once and for all whether to forgive or to keep walking away. Marcus' second gear initiative had grown faster than anyone expected. The program attracted attention from local news, community leaders, and even national organizations looking to replicate its success. For Marcus, it was proof that his pain had not been for nothing. But with success came scrutiny, and not all of it was welcome. One day, as Marcus worked in the shop, a reporter arrived unannounced. She wasn't there to cover the initiative success. She wanted to talk about Tony. Word had gotten out that Tony was writing to Marcus, and the reporter wanted to know if reconciliation was on the horizon. Marcus brushed her off, but the encounter left him uneasy. Was it time to confront his brother not through letters, but face to face? That night, Marcus sat in his small apartment, Tony's stack of letters in front of him. He reread the most recent one. In it, Tony wrote, "I know I don't deserve your forgiveness, Marcus, but I need you to know that I'm trying to be better. For the first time in my life, I'm trying to own up to my mistakes. If you ever want to talk, I'll be here. I just hope it's not too late." The words gnawed at Marcus. He hated the idea of Tony trying to find peace while he was still struggling with the weight of their shared history. But at the same time, Marcus couldn't ignore the changes Tony claimed to be making. Maybe it was time to see for himself. A week later, Marcus found himself sitting in the visiting room of the prison he once called home. The walls felt closer than they had during his incarceration, and the air was heavy with memories. When Tony walked in, Marcus barely recognized him. His once cocky demeanor was gone, replaced by a quiet humility. The brothers sat across from each other, an ocean of unspoken words between them. "Thanks for coming," Tony began, his voice subdued. Marcus said nothing, waiting for Tony to continue. "I know I messed up," Tony said. "I've been thinking about it every day since you got locked up. I don't expect you to forgive me, but I needed to tell you face to face that I'm sorry, not just for what I did to you, but for everything, for being the kind of brother who put you in that position in the first place." Marcus's jaw tightened. Hearing the words didn't erase the years he lost. "Sorry doesn't change anything," he replied. "You stole years from me, Tony. Years I can't get back." Tony nodded. "You're right. I can't change the past. But I'm trying to change who I am. And I wanted you to know that whether you forgive me or not." The conversation didn't end with a hug or a handshake. There were no promises of reconciliation, but for Marcus, it was a step. Walking out of that visiting room, he felt lighter. Maybe it was the act of finally confronting Tony, or maybe it was the realization that forgiveness wasn't about Tony at all. It was about freeing himself. Back at the shop, Marcus threw himself into his work. The second gear initiative continued to thrive, and Marcus found a new sense of clarity. He wasn't ready to forgive Tony yet, but he was open to the possibility, and that he realized was enough for now. Check this out, y'all. Youth involved in gangs are at 5 times the risk of violent victimization, including homicide, than those who are not gang affiliated. As we close this episode of Doing Time with Joe, remember this forgiveness is a journey, not a destination. It doesn't happen all at once, and it doesn't erase the past, but it can lighten the load we carry and open the door to a better future. This has been another episode of Doing Time with Joe. I'm your host, Joe Baker, and I say peace.
I'm getting so tired.